All right, we've got an intro video here for a huge property. This is a 102-acre tract, largest tract we've had in a long time, right up at the Lake of the Ozarks. Lake views, very close to multiple lake access points, heavily wooded property. So let's jump in here. I think we like to keep these short, but there's a lot going on with this property, so this intro video might run a few minutes. Here's the property outlined in red. Like I mentioned already, it's about 102 acres in size. This is the Lake of the Ozarks that you see up over here. And actually, we'll start by zooming in a little bit. The northern part of the property is almost directly across the road from the Lake of the Ozarks, and quite a bit of the property sits up much higher than the lake, so you do have lake views, which could definitely be improved by selectively cutting some of the smaller timber on here. We've had properties in this area for close to 10 years, so I actually did see this property 6 or 7 years ago, and someone had cleaned up the trail, someone had mowed some building sites, and it had multiple really nice lake views from different spots. When we went out there the other day to take pictures, a lot of the younger trees had grown up so much. These trees that were only 3 or 4 feet high are now 10 and 12 feet high. That the spots where I expected a lake view, actually I was just staring at trees. So in the wintertime, those spots will have that lake view again, and there's so much on this property that we've never explored because it is a huge tract, that you're gonna have a lot of different lake views, a lot of different building sites, a lot of really nice surprises on this property. So as we look at it here, let's do this. Let's really quickly, we'll zoom out and we'll show you how to get here from Camdenton, Missouri, which is kind of the main spot at the Lake of the Ozarks. We're going to zoom way, way out. Okay, so there you see Camdenton right down there. To get to the property, just take Highway 5 up. You cross over the lake, go left on Highway 7, so go west on Highway 7. By the way, the town to the west over here is Warsaw, is the closest large town or mid-sized town. Okay, so we've gone west on Highway 7. We're going to go, I don't recall how far it is, I believe it's about 10 miles. And we're going to go north on Highway Z. You'll see a Dollar General store right here on the south side of Highway 7. That's a good landmark. Just after that, you're going to go north, take a right onto Highway Z. Take Highway Z for 2 miles. And now we can go into the Google shot. There we go. So north onto Z, take Highway Z to the north for 2 miles, and then you're going to take a right onto Kaufman Bend Drive. And it's just this little short stretch right here. Okay, there we go. So right onto Kaufman Bend. Kaufman Bend continues on, but after just a quarter mile, you're going to go right onto Dodds Camp Road, and that's the gravel road that'll take you to the property. Okay, there we go. There's a lot to see on these maps. It is definitely a little confusing. When you make the trip out here, definitely, if you can, print out the maps from the listing, print out the directions, get the MapRight app. We talk about that in most of our listings now. If you get the free app from MapRight, either from the Android store, I guess the Google store, or the Apple store, download that to your tablet or your phone, whichever device you can get email on, and we will have MapRight send you the specific link for this actual interactive map that you're seeing right here. So it'll come in an email, open up the email, click on the link. It'll ask if you want to open the link within your app, to which you'll say yes. And then when that's all said and done, this will pop up on your screen, this actual map, and there'll be a little colored dot working out the GPS on your phone to indicate right where you are. So as you drive out here, you can be right here. Oh, I've got to go right onto Dodds Camp. Oh, I'm entering the property. And then as you walk around the property, you can tell with pretty good accuracy where you are on the property, because you'll actually have this outline of this interactive map on your phone and a colored dot to indicate where you are. So we use it just about every day. It's been fantastic. So anyway, we just took a right onto Kaufman Bend Drive, and you go, I believe it's about a quarter mile. And you'll see all this when you see the ground videos and the drone video and all that stuff. So you go about a quarter mile on Kaufman Bend. It's going to curve left and start to go down the hill. that's where you will actually go straight on this little section of road here, an old subdivision road, and that takes you into the property right there. So these yellow lines are road easements. This is a little subdivision road that takes you right to the property. The dotted lines are private trails on the property itself. Those are not easements for anybody else to use. We just outline them on this map to kind of give you an idea where the trail system is, or to the best of our knowledge where the trail system is. This other yellow line that you see is simply an easement that crosses over this western tip of the property, and that's for some other property owners down here. But I mean, you can see the road. We did want to make you aware of that easement there. Okay, so if you look at this map, you'll see that the property basically along this west side runs with Dodds Camp Road, but it doesn't touch Dodds Camp Road. That's because if we put on this parcel map here on MapRight, where is that? Right there. So we're using the full paid version of MapRight so we can create these maps. You don't need this. I'm sure MapRight will try to have a little clicky thing that makes you sign up, but you don't need to. All you need is the free map. We just use this full version to create the maps. We turn on the parcel layer. That'll show us the different parcels that are mapped out by the county. So these were all lots that were subdivided back in the 50s for a little subdivision on the lake here. So that's why it runs roughly parallel to Dodds Camp, but doesn't touch Dodds Camp. That being said, there are some places here that come up for sale. There's some vacant lots. So if you wanted different access points, different parts of your property, it'd be easy enough to call or send a letter to these property owners here and probably pick up one or more of those lots pretty inexpensively. Okay, so let's go back to, we'll turn that off. Okay, so you can see the Lake of the Ozarks right here. There are different access points in the area to the lake. One in particular that I'm thinking of is this area right here, which I believe has a boat launch and on some docks and whatnot. There's a sign up that says it's a community area. And from what I've been told, if you join the community association for $100 or $150 a year, that'll give you access to that boat launch, to the dock area. There's some different parking areas for trailers and whatnot. So if it's something that you're ever going to want to use that, it's probably a really inexpensive way to access the Lake of the Ozarks. There are other access points nearby. In fact, there's a really good one just a couple miles to the north called the Brown Bend Access, which is a beautiful access point run by the state. It's free, huge boat launch, fishing pier, all kinds of good stuff. And that's just a couple miles to the north, 3-4 miles, I guess. Okay, so let's do this now. Let's look at the topo map, because that is one of the best things about this property is the way it is situated. So if you're familiar with topo maps, this probably makes pretty good sense. If you're not, it's probably pretty confusing. But basically, this just shows the terrain and how the property is situated as far as the ups and downs. So as we come in from the west, follow the cursor there. This is a large flat ridge. And in fact, this looks like there was maybe a building site here. There's a small concrete slab. And then these trails kind of start at that ridge. There appears to be one that runs down this ridge, and there appears to be one that runs to the north. This entire area that you see here is basically a large flat area. And the cool thing is, even from back here, you've got lake views. And that's actually looking over this large ridge. And so although we haven't really been out there to see, it's a good bet that you're going to have some really, really good lake views from here as well, looking down into that large cove. So you've got a lot of different trails. Trail that apparently heads to the south here to a building site. So lots of hills, lots of hollers, lots of different areas. I mean, the deer absolutely love it on this property. We see deer out here and in this area all the time, turkey as well. So if you look at the terrain, this is kind of a valley area. This deal that says spring, I believe refers to this spring over here in the Dodds Camp area. But if you look at the terrain of this property, these valleys, I mean, that's where you find live water springs, is when you have terrain like that. Now, we've never explored it. Really all we've seen from this property is a little bit on some of these trails and then the drone video. So, I mean, come on out and bring your four-wheeler. or your side-by-side or your hiking boots, good bet you're going to find some kind of, at a minimum, really cool rock features in these valleys, and very possibly a live water spring. So if that's something you're interested in, you can check that out. It also gives you good potential for building either a large pond or potentially a lake. Just dam up part of this valley area and let the water back up. So so much to see on this property. Feel free to come check it out. Definitely check out the drone video that we'll have on the listing page as well. Check out the ground video. We just drove out to the property recently and we videoed that. So check all that out. It's just super cool property. So much to see. It's very, very rare that we have a property in this size range. Extremely rare. Most of the stuff we have is much, much smaller, but this is just such a nice piece to keep together that we did want to do that. So yeah, check out the listing page for all the info. If you have any questions, let us know. We would love to talk to you about this property. Really quickly, before I shut this off, I just noticed this actually. So these topo maps were generally done, I believe, in the 50s by the government, and the little dots indicate structures. This indicates that at one point, this did have two little structures on it there. So if you're out there to investigate the property and you get down to that area, be on the lookout for a couple structures, because this shows that at one point there was something there. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if we were to go to the Google map, if we could see anything. Just looks like trees. But yeah, feel free to play with the interactive maps. There's so much to see. If you have any questions, let us know. We would love to talk to you. And yeah, InstantAcres.com is where you can go to see if this is still available.